I made a video a while back where I ranked some of my favorite and most famous video game rats. However, there are still so many of them that I forgot about or didn't mention, so today we will journey back into the world of gaming rats and rank these cute little critters once again. And just to clarify, no, not mice, even though there are some cool mouse characters. We're just talking about rats. So sit down, crack open a gallon of milk, and let's dive in.
Okay, everybody tuck your pants into your socks.
Let's start this video off with the Rat King from Dark Souls 2. The Rat King might look like your average corpse rat, but he can talk, and as his name implies, is the ruler of the Rat King Covenant. In Dark Souls 2, there are 9 different covenants that the player can join, with each having their own benefits and drawbacks. Rat King is one of these covenants, and when you join, you get the crest of the Rat Ring, and certain enemies are no longer hostile to you. So the Rat King himself is not a fan of humans after being betrayed by them years ago, but he will let the player character, a human, join the covenant if they can conquer one of his burrows. The Rat King and his covenant are pretty interesting. It's always nice to see a video game rat that can actually talk and has character.
Leave this place, human.
Oh my god! You can talk!
And unlike a lot of rats, he's not really a villain. Yeah, he hates humans, but it's completely understandable why. Bro just wants his rats to live in peace. I would gladly serve the Rat King any day, so I'm putting him at the S tier. Next up is Remy, or Little Chef, from the Ratatouille game. So Remy is of course a movie character, but like most animated kids films in the 2000s, there were tie-in video games, and Ratatouille was one of them. Anyway, the game's plot is pretty close to the movies, with the added bonus of these levels where Remy is running on giant pieces of food. I don't know, I think it's clear to see which version of Ratatouille is better. Remy in the game is pretty much Remy in the movie, and I think he's a cool little guy who learns from his hero that anyone can cook. I'm gonna put the video game version of Remy in the B tier. Next, we got Mad Rat, a character from a game called Mad Rat Dead, a rhythm platforming game about a lab rat that died, but was brought back to life to seek revenge on the human scientist that killed him. I think Mad Rat himself has a really cool design with all the stitches and an open hole in the middle for the heart. Once again, an interesting rat character that is the star of their own game. A tier. So we're going to talk about D&D next, which I know is a tabletop RPG and not a video game, but I want to include it here because of the were-rats. So lycanthropes in D&D can transform into big animals, like werewolves, were-sharks, and of course, were-rats. Were-rats are about the same size and strength as humans, are lawful evil, and are nimble and cunning creatures. They like living in packs and sewers, which makes sense for rats, and are known to steal money and food from the people living in the cities above.
Well now, what do we have here?
Something kind of weird is that they don't often mate with each other, they usually mate with humans.
You what?!
And I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not a huge fan of their 5th edition design, kinda just a rat's head on a human body with a few rat-like details. I think I'm gonna put the were-rats in the C tier. Don't get me wrong, it's cool that you can turn into a huge walking rat, but I just can't get over that design. So speaking of D&D, let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3 rats. There's a few different types of rats in the game. They can be summoned as a familiar, some are just straight up enemies, and there's some that your character can actually talk to, if you have the Speak with Animals spell, or if you pass certain checks, like animal handling. 3 different types of rats in the game are hostile, but for this video, I want to focus on the rats that you can actually interact with. In the 3rd act of the game in the lower city, you can find messenger rats that, well, deliver messages to the player about the happenings in the city. There's also Skittle, a very punny rat that you can trade items with.
Care to take a squeak at my fun ratsticle wares?
Rattan Sessacor, which I'm probably saying that wrong, is a rat that loves cheese but loves the taste of blood and innards even more. There's quite a few of these cute little guys in Baldur's Gate 3, but if I were to collectively rank them, with their charming personalities and love of gossip in mind, I'm gonna go with S tier. Next on the list are the rats from the Plague Tale series. Rats are a pretty central theme to both games and one of the main enemies, as the player has to avoid large groups of rats that are spreading the Black Plague.
Oh my god!
Although these rats are hostile, you can actually use them to your advantage by redirecting them toward other enemies. I really like how big of a role rats play in these games, how the player can use them, and just the fact that they travel in hordes. It's honestly terrifying.
Run free, little bird. driving.
I'll put these guys in the A tier. Moving along, we have the propeller rats from the Shovel Knight series. These are cute little rats with propellers attached to their backs, allowing them to attack the player from above. There's a few different variations of these rats throughout the series, like the scissors propeller rat, the propeller rat drill dropper, and just some rats without a propeller on them at all. While I do like when games kind of stray away from having the rats strictly be enemies, I think these rats are unique in that, most of them at least, are airborne. I also think these rats are absolutely adorable and would definitely make for some marketable plushies. S tier. So now we have a confirmed female rat character, which is pretty rare.
Oh man, am I a woman?
Freya Crescent from Final Fantasy IX is a Burmesian, which are a race of humanoid rats. Freya is a dragon knight searching for her lost lover, Sir Fratley. She misses him dearly, leaving her feeling lots of loneliness and despair, but is still a good fighter with a witty personality despite that. Of course, a character's gender is not always a big deal, but it's kinda rare to see a female rat character in a video game, or any piece of media really. I like her design and personality, and I'm sure there's definitely not some questionable artwork of her on the internet. A tier. Next up on our list are the stupid rats from Pizza Tower. These little guys aren't hostile, but they do block the player from moving forward in levels. There's a few different types of stupid rats in Pizza Tower: large, small pin, and balloon.
I think Bessie...
Gustavo, another playable character in the game, is teamed up with a stupid rat named Brick. I understand that these rats are annoying, but I am in love with their design.
That I absolutely love.
They're so cute and look so squishy. For their amazing design, I'm gonna put the stupid rats at the S tier. Next, we have rats from Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. The newer ones, that is.
Cool!
These little guys are not very prominent in the games, they aren't enemies, and they're pretty easy to miss while playing. However, if you manage to spot them, you can get up close and personal with them by using the camera feature.
Whoa.
A lot of people have noticed that the rat model in Spider-Man 2 is a huge upgrade from the first game. Although these rats don't play a big role in the story, they're still cute, harmless little guys. B tier. So I did talk about the rats from the Fallout series in my last video and mention that regular rats only appear in the first 2 games, but I completely forgot about the giant rats from Fallout New Vegas. Giant rats are, well, big ol' mutated rats, with most of their fur missing, big front teeth, and piercing blue eyes. Giant rats found out in the wasteland, like in Vault 11, or the place you get the legendary Fisto from, are hostile toward the player, unless you have the animal friend perk. But the ones you see walking around Freeside, like the one that's being chased by that kid, are actually friendly. I think they have a pretty cool design, and the fact that some of them are chill is really cool. I'm gonna put these guys in the B tier. So last but not least, we have a bit of a weird choice that maybe shouldn't count, but oh well. We have the rats seen in the Doom 2 mod, Rat Doom. This is a mod that takes the weapons in Doom 2 and incorporates rats in some way, either by replacing the weapon entirely or just using the little guys as ammo or grenades. With this mod, you can rip and tear your way through demons using cute, squishy rats. Like I said, not a typical entry, but since I love the idea of using cute rats in such a brutal game, I'm gonna put these modded rats at the A tier. So I already mentioned this in my last video, but the Halo rat has once again earned its spot in the legendary god tier.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
There's a lot of great rats in gaming, even in this lineup alone, but I'm not sure if any could rival the majestic and holy nature of the Halo rats.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did.